This is a Hearthstone draft. So just like in sports, you're gonna pick your highest priority card first, and then we're gonna go down to 5. The draft today is the best cards in Hearthstone. And you have to make sure when you pick these cards that you're considering not only the time it was released in, but if a card is still played in Wild today, or it is re-released in Standard and did see play, I feel like that does get a little bit more of a bonus because it has stood the test of time. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. Thanks. Because you are the guest here, Dexter, you can have the first pick.
Okay.
Who is your #1 draft for best card in Hearthstone?
I think it's got to be Baku the Moon Eater.
Oh, Baku the Moon Eater.
Yeah. I have to support myself here, right? Or do you? Okay.
Yes, you can't just say a card. You have to give me an argument.
Okay, hold on. I need to pull up my cards here so I can talk about it. All right, Baku's just, I think, was it the first card that got banned or the fastest banned card?
It was not
or was
banned.
It was just moved into rotation. It was moved into rotation really quickly.
Yes.
And I think it's still played in Wild, right? I don't have too much Wild knowledge because I don't play Wild, but I think Baku, everyone complains about Baku all the time, like Odd Paladin's good or Odd Rogue's good, I think, or at least they used to. Card was just it was meta defining, and I think it kind of still is. Every time someone nerfs a card from 2 mana to 3 mana, I always hear about how this is bad for Wild because of Baku, because of Odd Paladin or whatever deck. So I don't know, ever since Baku got introduced, he's just she.
I think it's a she.
Yeah, it's been a really strong card, and it looks cool.
Honestly, that's a really good pick.
Thank you.
Personally, did not consider that whatsoever, which is actually really funny.
Yeah, you fucked up.
It was the fastest rotated card of all time. No other card in the history of Hearthstone other than Yen,
which wasn't as good.
That's actually really good. Do you know why it was rotated, Dexter?
Because it was just too dang good.
It was rotated because Hearthstone players were tired of going against the same concept over and over again. Because there's no draw RNG when it comes to Baku, people were just tired of the consistency of the card, so they wanted it gone.
I think it really limited design on their part. Like, I'm always worried when they introduce cards that just limit design. Seems to be a thing they tend to do all the time. It was just,
I would agree with that. Consistency
is really good. It's overpowered. So yeah.
But I'm gonna take a completely different approach here, and my #1 draft pick for this would be Patches the Pirate.
But OG Patches.
I mean, even current Patches, and I will explain why. Patches the Pirate made every single deck in Mean Streets of Gadsden for a period of time play Pirates because the card was that impactful to a metagame. It allowed you to pull a card out of your deck, summon a 1/1 for free, and do 1 damage when it had charge. It was really good. It was so good that they basically nerfed the card so it no longer has charge, and people still played it because of how great it was in an aggressive deck. Now, I know you said you don't play Wild. If you're playing a pirate deck, one of the main reasons you're going to play a pirate deck is because of Patches the Pirate. This card was nuts.
It's pretty good. I mean, I didn't really play during Mean Streets, and again, I don't play that much Wild, but 0 mana 1/1, it's not bad. And it kind of it thins your deck or whatever, right? If you have a 30 card deck, it's kind of a 29 card deck, which consistency again is a recurring thing that just makes decks good. So having 29 cards instead of 30 cards is great. That's why having 40 cards is bad.
I mean, Prince Renethal might be on the list. We'll talk about that soon.
Well, he's on your list. Okay, I'm going to write this down.
I said might. But yeah, Patches the Pirate was, I think, I want to call him the most impactful minion of all time. I think Baku's effect was very good, and it clearly made archetypes exist because of how powerful the effect was. But I don't think there has ever been another minion that has impacted the game as much as Patches the Pirate did.
Maybe there might be one card that has impacted a little bit more.
Why wasn't that your first round pick?
Wait, why wasn't Patches or the other minion?
The other card that apparently...
Because Baku's just too good. Baku's got great flavor. Okay, I think maybe, I don't know, Bran.
All right, so this would now be your #2 pick.
Is that fair? Bran? Bran Bronzebeard.
You know what? I will say this. Bran was on my list.
Yeah, Bran is kind of OP. Again, very... You know, played all the time, kind of like Patches, I guess, but still played in current day. I guess that's mostly because it's in core, but I think he's still played in Wild. He's broken the game in Standard, not really, but everyone plays, you know, Bran and Bron, or Bran and Bron, what? Bran and Sire Denathrius, but I still think Bran is kind of, he's a staple. He's a good
jolly boy.
Let me ask you a question before we talk about Bran here. Do you think if Baku was still in Standard, he would see play?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I think if you're hero powering in today's day and age, you're not doing something correct. So I don't know if Baku would still see play. Maybe.
I think doing 3 for 2 mana consistently is good, but I guess with the wait, how would it work with Hunter quest?
It would do 3. People play that deck in Wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds busted. You don't think that would see play?
I was just asking that question. I'm just really curious to see what you say, because I'm pretty confident Patches the Pirate would see play, but Bran, good pick. Bran, I think, is the symptom of better battle cries from other minions, right? The card is very good, but it only got better because of cards around it. Kind of how Reno got worse because there's just better things you can be doing now. Turns out healing for 30 is just not nearly as good, but when you could double a very effective battle cry, it leads to insane combinations, right? Which is why I think Bran's a really good pick. Now, second round, I don't know about second round, bro.
Really?
You ready for this? This is why I'm gonna say this. My second round pick is the Demon Seed. This card was banned in Wild, like straight up. It's that freaking nuts that it was banned in Wild. Do you remember United Stormwind? Were you playing during United Stormwind?
Yeah, that's when I quit.
Yeah, so you remember what deck was the #1 deck for an extremely long period of time before they finally nerfed it?
Quest Warlock?
Yeah. It turns out when you can negate one of the core mechanics of Hearthstone, which is taking damage on your turn, at least to a pretty broken state. Now, currently, because they nerfed it so much, it does not see a ton of play, but I think the idea behind how impactful the card was when it was released, and the fact that it was, I want to say, the first card ever to be banned in Wild with Stealer of Souls is insane. We've never seen that before. So if that card was not banned in Wild, I am pretty confident to say that card would be a tier 1 deck in Wild still, even after all these nerfs. Bran's really good, and he is very good when you have good battle cries, but the Demon Seed is a card that will single-handedly win you a game if you have the right cards surrounding it. If it's playable, it's broken, and you never want a card like that in Hearthstone. You fundamentally have to change the reward.
Bran's still good right now, though. People still play. People don't play Demon Seed. It was good in its prime, and it was good enough to make me not want to play Hearthstone and stop playing Hearthstone. People still play Bran, you know.
Has Bran ever been nerfed?
Has he been nerfed? I don't think
he has not.
No? Okay, well, the cards around Bran have been nerfed. I think they don't want to nerf Bran because he's monumental. He's iconic. A pillar of the community. But I think with Bran, most recently they nerfed Kael'thas instead, right? So instead of nerfing Sire Denathrius, because Denathrius is very important to the most recent expansion, and instead of nerfing Bran, because Bran is so important to, I think, Hearthstone or just Warcraft in general, they went ahead and they nerfed a surrounding card, which is KT, when they could have nerfed Bran, right?
But is Bran the problem?
I feel like there's got to be another case where they nerfed a supporting or a surrounding card because of Bran. Is Shutterwalk?
Shutterwalk was not used because of Bran.
Okay, we can cut that from the video. I think
we're gonna keep that in the video. We're gonna case worse.
There's got to be another card. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it's hard. You're putting me on the spot.
Well, what do you mean? I told you to have a list.
You told me to have a list of the 10 best cards. I had Boulderfist Ogre in this list.
Hey, hold on. That's on my list. Stop talking. Third round draft pick. So just to recap here, you have Baku and Bran, and I picked Patches and the Demon Seed. What's your third round draft pick?
Ziliax?
Yeah,
Did he get nerfed?
I think he holds the title, by the way, of the most played card, but I think actually Renathal might have taken over.
Yeah. Well, we don't gotta talk about Renathal. I think Ziliax is very important. Yeah, everyone complained about Ziliax. He was really frustrating. I liked Ziliax. I think he was just broken. Actually, no, wait, never mind. I can't. Never mind. I was gonna say,
I will give you the opportunity. Do you still want to pick Ziliax as your third round draft pick?
Yeah, no. Can I change it?
I think Ziliax was just a very good card, and it wasn't broken, fit into a variety of archetypes, which made it the most playable card.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I didn't pick him for my third round. What did I pick? I picked Prince Renathal as my third. Prince Renathal? This card is so freaking good. Like,
hold on. Did you have Prince Renathal on the list?
No, I had him. Sure, but I also wrote him down. But no, he's just so good, dude. What the heck? Prince Renathal? I personally, I don't know. There's two sides, right? It's like Team Edward, Team Jacob over here. People are like, Prince Renathal needs to be removed from the game, or Prince Renathal is the best thing that ever happened to Hearthstone. I don't know which side you're on. I don't know if you want to get political like that.
You want my opinion? I think he's very good for the game.
I also think he's good for the game. I think he slows it down. He makes aggro decks a little less good, but I think they can kind of compensate for that. I'm worried about when Renathal rotates. I think they can mess around with other things like maybe the 20 card aggro deck version. Yeah, Renathal, fantastic. Makes games fun. I think it was one of the best like mid expansion, what's it called? Mid-season, I don't know, injection.
Pre-release was probably what you wanted to say. Yeah, he was the pre-release for.
Yeah, it was the best pre-release. Like it made the game so fun.
And
he's good. And he's good. And now everyone plays him. He's most played card. He's in like what, 60% of decks or something like that. I don't know.
He's a very good card. Arguably, I think you should have put him higher.
Wait, you didn't put him on your list?
I did. I said I would have put him higher on your list.
So you think my list sucks?
I'm not saying that. I mean, I'll let the people decide on that one, but it speaks for itself, right? He's a card literally changed the wild metagame single-handedly. That alone probably makes him a very powerful card in Hearthstone. And he's doing the exact same thing in Standard, right? He fundamentally changed how the game is played. How many cards have done that?
Yeah, not a lot.
There's not a lot of them.
Bran, maybe Baku.
Yeah, dude, it's
I think that's it.
Prince Renathal's a really good pick, and unfortunately, I actually had him on my list as well. I was going to pick him for third round draft pick because I think he's very impactful. But for my third round draft pick, I'm going to pick Yogg, the original. Yogg, Sirron.
OG Yogg.
OG Yogg was so freaking good that people were willing to risk a competitive tournament for thousands of dollars to RNG because the card was just that impactful. The card was so freaking good that after that tournament, the Blizzard team was like, we can't have this in the game anymore like this. So they nerfed it. The card was just basically a get out of jail free card. The whole meta kind of revolved around it for a little bit. I don't know if you played during that time. You didn't play during Whispers, right?
No.
But you probably heard the murmurs of how good Yogg Sirron was, right?
Yeah.
He's also iconic when it comes to Hearthstone, but doesn't have to do anything with the best. I think when a card is that good, with that random and could be played on a competitive stage, it says something of how powerful the card actually was. But I do say that Prince Renathal was a better third round draft pick. I don't think it was as impactful as Prince Renathal.
So you're saying I won?
I would give you this round for sure. Prince Renathal would have been probably above Baku as well. Like that's how insane that card was.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
So
I messed up my order. All right. But I was trying to throw you off, and I think I worked.
I'm very curious to see if you had Prince Renathal before I said it. I shouldn't have said it.
Well, I guess you'll never know. Another good card here. Maybe this is a bad pick. N'Zoth.
The original?
The Corruptor. He's a good card. He's a big boy with tentacles. He summons a bunch of dudes. He was played in Standard quite a bit, right?
He was.
I don't think you're impressed with my pick, Rarran.
I wouldn't have picked N'Zoth, but keep going. You've already decided this. We already gave you one mulligan with Zilliax. Keep on going.
And well, he summons a bunch of boys on the board. He worked really well with other cards. So what was the Spider? Hadronox,
yeah.
Yeah, and then he's just got a bunch of flavor. I don't know if that gives bonus points, bunch of lore
this is
behind
the best
him.
Card. It's not. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
The lore.
I wouldn't count it, but go for it.
You don't count that as important?
Well, I said for Yogg, he was, I think, arguably in people's minds, the most iconic, like the most fun they've ever had with Hearthstone, right? But I wouldn't count that for like the best card in Hearthstone because that's not what makes a card good.
Fun's important. I think Yogg is great.
I 100% agree with you, but this is the list of best cards, not the most fun cards.
Well, can I change my pick?
I know it's too late. You're picking N'Zoth.
N'Zoth is great. I love N'Zoth. I wouldn't have had a different choice. And he is just, battle cry. He works with all the big death rattle boys. Good big boy, big strong. Yes. Can't argue. You can't argue with that.
I will say it's a good card. Now, is it one of the best cards in Hearthstone? I think that's pretty debatable.
Do you think he'd be played in current day?
Right now?
Right now.
I think he would see play because of Renathal. I don't know if he would see play without it.
Okay. I think he'd see play.
Interesting. All right. I'm a little surprised you picked N'Zoth. I didn't think it was even close.
I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't on my list. I picked it last second because you said Yogg, and I was like, I need to choose one of the old
Why do you prepare
gods.
a list if you're not gonna even use it?
I told you my list had really bad stuff on there.
I'm gonna go with number 4, a card that's actually been around since Classic and has seen, I think, play forever. I don't know why this card's actually still in the game. Shadow Step. Shadow Step is one of the reasons why Rogue is allowed to do a bunch of nonsense over the years. If you look at literally any of the top Rogue decks that has been around, give or take a couple, what is the core card that's been a part of all of them, Dexter?
Yeah, it's Shadow Step. It's good.
It's one of the reasons why Edwin was broken. Because you would shadow step minions, you would shadow step him, you would do whatever you want. It allows Rogue to do the Leroy Jenkins shadow step kill that was so prominent in the back in the day. It just enables Rogue to do a ton of different stuff. But the real reason why it's number 4, and I thought about a lot of other classic cards when I was thinking about this, is because it is still around today. It has been in the game for literally 8 years, and it has never taken a year off, unless Rogue is unplayable, which generally does not happen. I would argue it would be the best Rogue card ever released.
Shadow Step hasn't gotten nerfed, right?
Shadow Step has not gotten got nerfed.
I think you're right. Yeah, Shadow Step's really good. I think you think it'll ever be nerfed.
I was actually very surprised they've kept it in the core set. I don't know if they'll ever nerf it, but I'm surprised it's still in the game for balance purposes. Nerfing it, how do you nerf that card? One less? I feel like that's so bad. Like it would just make the card unplayable. So I could see it being rotated.
Yeah, it's so rogue. It's very class identity.
I will say that Shadow Step makes N'Zoth a much better card.
I was gonna say the same thing actually. Do you think Shadow Step would be as good if N'Zoth was never printed?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So I think I would like to take N'Zoth back and instead replace it with Stone Tusk Boar. Stone Tusk Boar.
Stone Tusk Boar. Wow. Okay.
Stone Tusk Boar. Yeah, that is a card.
I just want to say you can't replace N'Zoth. You're on your fifth round.
I know,
is your
but
fifth
I'm
round.
just letting the people know. But Stone Tusk Boar. That's a card. Okay. Problematic card. I think running theme here that it was just really hard for them to design cards around. I think Boar just kept breaking the game. I also think it was frustrating for your opponent, right? When you pop off with the Boar, it ends up being like a miracle sort of combo turn. But for you it was a lot of fun. What was there was a priest deck where you just constantly not Elwyn Boar priest, but the Stone Tusk Boar priest.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The topsy-turvy one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was topsy-turvy. God,
I will say that deck was actually not good. People just played it.
But Boar was good.
Boar was the fundamental reason why the deck was played, though.
They had a design problem, I think, with Boar. Just having charge, a 1-mana charge, really annoying. I think Boar would see play right now if he was in standard.
Well, maybe.
Oh yeah. In Priest.
Maybe. I guess with Bless.
Yeah, you pop off with Boar. It's like Wig Priest. You can make the biggest minion, but you can't actually like kill him that turn.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So I think Boar would just always see play in standard, and I think it always has whenever it's been in the game. That's why they removed it. I think in Wild, maybe it doesn't, hold a candle to other broken stuff, but I think Boar in general has just been a really, really strong card and problematic design.
I think Boar is not really good. I think it's just a hard card. It's hard to design cards around Boar when it's in the game because it can cause broken interaction. You're right that the card it can be very good, don't get me wrong, but is it a top 5 pick? I don't know. You know what my number 5 pick is, Dexter?
No, I don't know.
Do you remember Zephyrus the Great?
Yeah, I was gonna choose Zephyrus too.
I wanted to replace N'Zoth with Zephyrus.
It's actually kind of disrespectful that he's so low on the list. But anyways, let me make my point against Stone Tusk Boar here because it's like you're with wet noodles and I have a sword currently. I don't know if Zephyrus can actually give Stone Tusk Boar, but Zephyrus was a Highlander card and it was the ability to basically wish for the perfect card, which sometimes it would not work just due to the circumstances of the board, but 99% of the time it was a game-winning card. Single-handedly the reason why you wanted to play Highlander decks in decks that didn't have a payoff to be Highlander. Rogue would play that card because of Zephyrus with Shadow Step, by the way. That's why Shadow Step was also on the list. It's hard to think of a card that did so much for the Highlander archetype like Zephyrus did. Like sure, like there was Dino Tamer Brand, which was really good, but I don't think it was the best card in the deck. I think it was always just Zephyrus. The mulligan win rate on Zephyrus when it was in your opening hand was absurd because the card was just that powerful. I mean, there's not much to say. If you played against Zephyrus, you probably knew what it was like. I personally did not like the card, but it was a very, very powerful card.
Yeah, Zephyrus was very good. He was actually on, he was on my list. I probably should have talked about it. My list keeps growing. I had to scroll up in order to see Zephyrus. So I forgot about
typing new cards as we're going.
Yeah, I do think Zephyrus is very good, but I think he was broken often, and like literally broken, like good, but also like he didn't give you the right card. Right now in Wild, does he actually work?
It's still the classic set. Like the classic set never gets changed, right?
So it's not core, it's classic.
If you remember, when Zephyrus rotated, it was when the core set was introduced. They were basically waiting for Zephyrus to get rotated out before they introduced it. But Zephyrus still gets played in Wild. If you're playing a Highlander deck, you're running that card no matter what.
I assume if you're playing Highlander, yeah. Yeah, well, he's good. I like that card, especially with Shadow Step. I think he might be a little bit better than N'Zoth.
He might be. Let's do a quick recap here. So my number was Patches the Pirate. Yours was Baku the Moon Eater.
Baku, yeah.
I think you can make the case for both that they're very good and they're both individual ways. We'll let the viewers decide who was right on that one. Number 2 was the Demon Seed for me. What did you pick?
Bran.
Okay.
Don't laugh.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm just saying.
I hear you laughing.
Number 3 was I picked Yogg-Saron. You picked Prince Renethal.
Yeah.
Arguably your best round by far. Arguably.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
I picked Shadow Step. You picked what? Sorry.
Zephyrus.
It was N'Zoth.
It was N'Zoth. Yeah.
And then number 5,
Not my proudest.
Number 5, I picked Zephyrus, and you picked
Boar. I think I won, right?